if you are pretty new to the guitar path, if you've recently started your guitar journey, then you will probably be familiar with the feeling of guitar imposter syndrome, right? Where you feel like you're actually getting somewhere. You can strum some of your favourite songs, but then you go online and you start looking at other guitarists and they're doing mad stuff. They're flying up and down the fretboard, doing crazy chord shapes. It looks like they're playing with 7 fingers rather than 5, and they just sound beautiful. And all of a sudden you feel like you've not really progressed that much because it feels like you now have a mountain to climb, which can be very disheartening and very overwhelming. Well, of course we shouldn't compare ourselves to other guitarists, but that's easier said than done. I still do it all the time, and I still do feel that imposter syndrome. But something we can do about that right away is find something that makes us look a lot better than we actually are. And that can be difficult. We want something that sounds sophisticated, something that looks pretty tricky to play so that we actually turn heads and people look at us and go, whoa, look at those chord shapes. Wonder what he's doing. And that's a little bit vain, but this is the whole point, right? We want something that looks sophisticated, looks difficult, but is actually pretty simple to play. And that is what we're going to do today. So make sure you've got your guitar ready, and I want us to get into the E chord. That's where we're going to start. Now, we want to leave our index finger free, so we start with our middle finger on the E chord, right? And we only need 2 shapes to do what I'm going to show you, right? We get the E chord, and then we're going to take our 2 fingers here and we're going to slide up 2 frets, alright, to the 4th fret, and put our index finger on the G string on the 2nd fret. And again, we're going to play every single string. Now, I know that this might be a little bit of a stretch, but if you can do this, then it's only going to get a little bit easier, because as we go up the fretboard, the frets get smaller, and it's not such a stretch for our fingers. So, that's what we need to get first, right? And again, play every single string. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to climb up the E major scale. Now, there's 7 frets in every key, alright, and we're going to climb up them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then back to the E chord again. And what we're basically doing here is we're using little triad shapes, but in the key of E, the really cool thing is we can keep the E string open, and this B sounds really cool as well. It just sounds lovely. Alright, now let me walk you through that nice and slow, alright? So, the way you think about it is we've got a major chord, a minor chord, a minor chord, a major chord, a major chord, minor chord. Normally there'd be a diminished chord, but we're going to play minor, just because, hey, it's just easier, right? And then we're going to go back to E. Okay, so major, minor, minor, major, major, minor, minor. Okay. Now, just walking it through nice and slow, fret-wise, we've got the E chord, 2 and 4, 4 and 6, 6 and 7, 8 and 9, 9 and 11, 11 and 13, and then 13 and 14, right? Just back to the normal E shape here. Okay, now we want to get comfortable with that, and then what I want you to do is start applying this strum. Alright, down, down, up, up, down, up. Practice this, and I'm going to shoot through this pretty fast, so if you do want to catch up, you can pause it, rewind it, and get used to this stuff, because we're going to do something, well, 2 things actually, to enhance this a little bit more, right? But again, take it one step at a time. So, after you've got that, even though that sounds really nice, going up and down the major scale, it does sound a little bit predictable after a while. So we want to start creating a chord progression, and again, you can experiment with this yourself, and come up with some cool stuff. I'm going to give you a little template, alright, something to work on now, and then you can, you know, do your own thing with it. So we're going to play the E chord first, then climb up, 2 and 4, 4 and 6, and then back again, alright. Start again. 2 and 4. 4 and 6. 6 and 7. And then the octave. And then you're going to climb back down. Alright, and again, that's a kind of loose progression, you know, and you can do your own thing with it. I play it different every time I do it. The next thing I want us to do is to use that same concept, alright, but I want us to take our pinky off. Okay, and we're going to use the same shapes, and we're going to pick it with our thumb and our finger. Alright, so I'm going to have my thumb on the A string, and my index finger on the G, and I'm going to pick it like this. A, G. Just go up the same shapes, so I've not got my pinky on. Sounds pretty cool, right? And then once you're cool with that, let's slide into the A string. Yeah. And then we want to mix and match some of that and some of the chords. And I'm going to give you something cool that you can play. Alright, we're going to start. Like this, alright? Climb up. E, minor, minor, back again. And E. You can do your own kind of rhythm. Alright? You can figure your own thing out with it and do some creative stuff. Then we can again use that to connect to other chords. Alright? So what I mean, so I hope you enjoyed that lesson. I hope that you have a lot of fun with that. If you like this kind of stuff, then make sure you come and hang out with me and the other students in the Facebook group. You can upload progress videos, get other lessons, and just have a good time. Alright, so make sure you jump over there. Links in the description, and I'll see you soon with the next lesson.